Diddy in the building, man. It's
Yes, sir.
legendary.
Yes, sir.
Legends only tonight, baby.
I see what folks do.
All right, it's a two-part question. The first part is, are we selling our young men up the river by spending so much time in sports? You know what I mean? And the second part is, why do we value sports entertainment so much over like education and trade skills? Because just from a number standpoint, statistically, and Diddy, you can speak on this obviously more than anybody, but everybody can't make it to that pinnacle, right? So some of these young men, they'll spend so much time in the sports, and I know personally because I coach youth football for 10 years, and I see how much parents can pour into that child and just in whatever, football, basketball. But I say, imagine if you was teaching your kid how to be a damn electrician or a plumber for 10 years. By the time this motherfucker 16 years old, he'd be a goddamn master, right? Why don't we think outside the box? Just little shit like that. And even especially the kids, because some kids do got potential, right? And you can, get your college education paid for and things like that. But some people don't even have the potential at a young age, and parents are using it almost like a form of daycare. So just wanted to get y'all take on it. And I'll bring you in first, Diddy.
Okay, so do I think that we're pouring too much into kids about football or sports? I would say overall, no. And the reason why I say no is because how we've been raised. Um, they didn't have jobs and lives like we have grown up. Not our grandparents, even though they made good money working in the mills and stuff like that, but they didn't have um, all the access that we have now, right? So I feel like for our grandparents, they pretty much told us to get to a point where their grandparents never made it. Okay, and if this is the only thing that per se a family or even a race has on their side, um, that is why it's pushed that way. Otherwise, we'll be like other cultures that is never really into sports, always into tech. But it's our cultures is kind of just a little different. But you can't really fault parents because if that's all they know, all they experience, everyone's shooting that shot. Everyone's shooting a shot, and it's a grimy game because you all know. You know what I'm saying? You all know about that one. Um, what was the second part of the question?
Like, are we selling them up the river? Kind of go to my point. Like, if you can identify that your child really don't have the skill set, and maybe your child is a smart kid who's into computers, are you selling your child up the river by forcing him into sports as opposed to finding where his strong suit, where he can hang his hat at?
Well, I don't. I think it's tied into my first answer because we're not even out of that yet. I don't think that's going to be until if it's not my son, it's going to be my nephew, which is only 7 years older than him. They actually have like a whole other world that they can go after. So for us, like we may be the last one. It might be 5 years after us. It might be still kind of with the same push. Um, so I can't say that you're selling them short because if it doesn't work after all those years, I think they rely on uh, you to have good coaches, good mentors along the way in your sports journey because you do cross paths with many people of many forms and you learn so much. Um, and it also creates a structure in your life. And if a parent's unable to do it like themselves and just have you homeschool and teaching you a trade all your life, that is their best shot, is to keep you so occupied with a function or a structure. That is all that they can possibly give you, and then you're on your own because they did the best that they can do. So I don't think you can kind of shoot them down. But you talk about in the next 20 years, then there's no excuse unless you're dealing with all the top breed of athletes because you just can't stop what's natural.
Okay.
It'll always be there.